Welcome back to the Division 2. In this video we have the very first intelligence annex for the Specialization Revamp, the thing that I don't think anyone actually asked for. Not entirely sure if people did actually want to see it or not, but let's go through what they've said. So, this is the first one in what I believe will be monthly updates leading up to the launch of the new content in Feb 2022. It starts off with Agents. As previously communicated, we are back with a new episode of the Intelligence Annex Initiative. Today we are kickstarting things strong with a focus on how we're going to improve one of the key aspects of the game's specializations. While all details will be shared closer to launch, we wanted to give you a first sneak peek about how the team is going to continue to give you more choice in building your perfect agent. To introduce this content, we now leave the floor to Trick Dempsey, expert game designer. So, the Specialization Revamp. In the last few years, we've dedicated a lot of time to researching the builds used by players in both PvE and PvP content, and we've concluded the specializations are today not reaching their full potential. And it says that they're not reaching their full potential yet. The game's been out for coming up 3 years, and for specializations to be such a key feature in the game and then not reach their full potential, you're taking a little bit too long. Our objective with specializations is to empower players to create agents who match their playstyle preferences. With our next update, specializations will greatly improve both build diversity and player choice. To do this, we will be splitting up specialization progression into a linear level and a specialization tree. So, the level progression. In the current design, much of the existing specialization tree is mandatory. Agents can spend their points into improving signature weapon damage and ammo acquisition, also requiring to manually add and remove individual elements whenever you decide to try out new weapons. To better fit with our ambition to create a more bespoke experience for all specializations, these elements will be moving into a strictly linear level system. This is where you will unlock your skill variants, specialization sidearm and upgrades, and signature weapon power. All this is where the power increase comes from perks will be moved here once they've been reviewed and tuned. Once you've unlocked these benefits, they will remain permanently on your character as long as they have that specialization active. This linear level progression will also reward you with specialization points to spend in the new tree. So, thanks to the addition of the linear progression system, this is now the specialization tree, we will be entirely reviewing the specialization tree to provide a stronger focus on customization and choice to the players. Importantly, there will not be enough points to purchase every perk on the tree. Instead, you will need to choose what perks best fit your playstyle. The tree focuses on 3 elements: signature weapons, armor kits, and grenades. For grenades and armor kits, we want to provide alternate uses for these consumables, which may be triggered instantly in addition to their standard behavior. The trees permit agents to pick whether their armor kits and grenades have these alternate quick uses and invest additional specialization points to improve them. For the signature weapons, we want to allow players to customize their behavior and to invest specialization points to increase the impact those choices might have. This would be a meaningless addition without the ability to make named enemies vulnerable to signature weapon damage, so we are implementing a system to make that possible. Additionally, we want the whole specialization tree to be valid in all game modes, and this means that we are reintroducing the signature weapons to PvP. We want all players to enjoy benefit from these new balancing efforts and improved experience. To avoid seeing signature weapons become the ultimate ambush tools, agents will be treated the same way as named enemies when it comes to signature weapon damage. This will require significant balancing and tuning, so we will be watching build and player performance closely. They say all of this, but they can't watch as close as they could have done 2 years ago, because half the team has now been moved on to work on other games. They have nowhere near as many developers working on the game anymore, and it's going to be incredibly tough for them to balance things properly unless they get it right out of the gate. Another thing is, all players have wanted, and I don't understand why it's so hard to understand this for developers, is we just want new content. It's nice to have all these additions, but we want legendary difficulty, we want new missions, all that sort of stuff that actually gives us a reason to play the game. No one's going to wake up in the morning and go, oh, there's a new spec tree for the specializations, they get a new tree. I'm going to load up Division 2 and see what I can mess around with. 2 minutes in the tree, you've selected your perks, you're back to doing the same shit we've been doing for the last year plus. Obviously, we have a lot more time to find out more about what's actually coming. They might have legendary missions in there. They might have some other content for us to play. We don't know too much at the minute, so it's kind of difficult to make like solid opinions about stuff. Like, it sounds alright, but from people setting up their specializations to boost their explosive damage, to give them extra headshot damage with rifles and stuff, it's like, what's actually going to be on these trees that's going to help the player have a stronger build? We're only 4 months away from this new content, so I think they should, like, they said there's going to be a reveal in January. I feel having this post, one in November, one in December, I don't even know if they'll do one in January, but what's the point of having 3 or 4 posts? They could easily give us way more information, and it would also build up hype if they say legendary missions are coming. There's going to be positive videos made about all that sort of stuff. There's going to be people putting together legendary mission builds. It's going to bring so much more to the game. If we find out even a sneak peek of the new game mode, people can start preparing for that stuff. It will give them a reason to jump into the game now. It will give them something to look forward to. Whereas instead, we're just getting a little article about, oh, we're revamping specializations, which didn't even need revamping. The only thing that realistically needed to happen to them was to make them a little bit more powerful. But if you have the right build, you have the right stats, all that sort of stuff, you can make these really powerful as they are. This didn't need a revamp. This was just something that was fairly easy for them to work on. I know there's going to be a lot of balancing and stuff, but instead of working on creating entirely new areas for new missions, or something else related to content, they've taken a portion of the game that's a lot easier than others. Not saying it's going to be easy, just saying it's easier than other parts of the game. They've decided to work with that. I don't actually think I've ever heard anyone complain about the specializations. Like, since they stopped working on this game, what was it, December 2020? Since they kind of went silent about everything and the final title update we had, I don't think people have complained about, like, not having a specific tree that's going to benefit you more than before. The only thing people are wanting from this game right now is extra content to play, new missions and stuff. But this carries on to say the power of choice. While a specialization and its signature weapon are tied, that would be no longer true for their mods, skill variants and sidearms anymore. By sufficiently leveling up a specialization, you would unlock these formerly specialization restricted specific items for use by other specializations. Want to use the Artificer Hive with the mortar turret while wielding the Survivalist D50? You'll be able to do just that. As you might guess, these changes, among other exciting improvements to come with our next update, are quite a complex topic to handle, and we want to take the time to deliver the best experience for you all. In the meantime, good hunting, Trick Dempsey, expert game designer. Yeah, because it carries on to say after that, this is all for today, agents. We're looking forward to bringing these changes and many others to keep on improving the core experience of The Division 2. Keep an eye out for future news and don't forget to check out our next Intelligence Annex in November. Until next time, the development team. So, literally all we know about is this specialization revamp. That's what they've decided to start off this build-up towards the new content with. People might be able to make fantastic builds doing all this stuff, but again, the same thing falls into place. What is the point of making new builds if there's just going to be one new game mode that lasts less than a week? I know in some sort of scenario, asking for a lot of new content is asking a lot. But at the same time, it shouldn't be a lot to ask for new content. We've been waiting a year just to find out about this stuff. Well, like 10 months. And we still have to wait another 4. It just seems as though they are still not listening, because they haven't given away anything. So, for all we know, they could be sitting there and they're going, do we have legendary missions? Do we not? And then no one will talk about it, so they won't add it. Whereas if people speak about it, they might consider adding it or something like that. Players need to ask about stuff they want. They need to say, we want legendary missions, we want an upgrade to Summit, we want this, we want that. They have to know what we want. And right now, it feels as though they don't know what we want because they're posting about specializations. Not only that, but with the Operation Motherland update to Breakpoint where they've actually listened, if they execute that update well, this update for The Division 2 has a lot to live up to. And it's going to put more pressure on the devs. It's going to cause more stress for the developers. They've had so much time to figure this stuff out. I know it's only the beginning of finding stuff out about it, but literally the only thing, like as hard as some of this stuff might be, like to create new mission areas and everything, literally the only thing I want to see in The Division 2 is new content that's going to last longer than a week with replayability. And no, I'm not talking raids. They're 4 to 8 players, I don't enjoy them. I'm talking missions, legendary, heroic leaderboards being reactivated. Some of it isn't too tough to even consider. But what we're going to do is leave the video there. I will obviously be back in November to talk about the next Intelligence Annex, and we'll see what else they have to say. But so far, with it just being about specializations for the first one, I don't know if anything significant enough to keep players around or even attract new players to the game. I don't think there's anything in there, or will be anything in there, that's going to be significant enough to make this game thrive like it did a couple of years ago. But that's all my opinion. Let me know yours in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed it.